Oh yeah. Yep.
Maybe.
I just had my video off for a minute because I'm like still putzing around making some tea and stuff. So, but I can't see you.
You cannot see me?
I can't. Nope.
All right, what am I doing wrong, Deb?
Let me look.
On
Your
the
video is
bottom, there's like a
on.
little video guy. So it should say start video. Do you see that?
Okay, yeah, or it says stop video, not start video.
Oh, weird. Huh. I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
Let me see if I can undo you from my side. Oh, isn't that funny? I can't see any of you guys. Did somebody hit something?
No, I'm not on yet, Antip. I'm still putzing around doing some tea and stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's okay, Mo's there. Yeah, Carl, if you look all the way down, maybe I can screen share my desktop. So can you see down in the corner, on the very corner, it has a picture of a, oh no, never mind, I just made it go away. On the very left, there's a stop video.
Right.
So if you put the arrow up, the FaceTime camera,
Okay, yeah.
check that maybe. That might have been off on yours. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to just pour my hot water.
Well, it was already checked, but
Let me look.
it's checked. FaceTime HD camera built in, it's checked.
Yeah. Let me
Debbie.
you stop video chat pin spotlight.
Let me go to video setting here, hold on.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going, Laura?
it's going okay. Yeah, just finished dinner and gonna have my tea.
Yep.
We
Oh, nice. That's what I were doing too.
I'm having tea too.
It's tea
Yep.
time.
Everybody just grab their tea.
I don't know what the deal is here.
Oh, that's annoying, right?
I mean, I didn't change anything from last time.
Trying to think of what I could be missing here that, let me see. Oh, I have my tea and I never poured it.
And are you on like a laptop or anything that it could be like
Yeah, I'm
video
on a laptop and
and it's like
It might
open
have-
and everything?
Maybe it's set for external camera or something like that, which you can hit. Let me see where that would be in your settings.
I mean, I literally did not change anything from last time. I can always do it on my phone. Oh, that might have something to do with it. I was doing some with my phone to see if it was coming up on my phone, and all of a sudden, what was showing on my phone was coming up on my laptop.
Oh,
like,
yeah, you
that's
could just
weird.
be
Why is that
streaming it
not
over
there?
there. So maybe
Um,
get off your phone and join back on
Well, I
your.
am, okay, well, maybe not officially, like. All right, let's see. Sorry, I don't want to hold you guys up.
No, no worries. No worries.
Can you, all right, it's connecting on my phone right now. Hold on. Okay, this meeting is being recorded, okay.
Oh, come back here.
Recording in progress.
Can you see me?
Yep, yep, you're there
Oh,
now.
oh. Yeah, but it's weird. It's coming, the camera's coming. I'm plugged into two things at once.
Yeah, you're on two things.
All right, I'm gonna get off my computer. That's obnoxious. Excellent. Okay. Oh, dang it. All right, now,
No echoes. Sounds good now.
all right, I'm on my phone, which is not convenient, but whatever. At least there's no echo.
I know, that's kind of a pain in the neck. I'm gonna switch my little things right around here so I can have it closer. Nice exercise ball there, Miss Ash.
Thanks, I got the belly getting
My
bigger,
phone's a
so-
small, wow, look at that belly. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, have fun.
When you text message last week during the meeting and said you weren't going to make it, I like was biting my tongue the whole time. And then at the end, I said to Debbie, "Who's pregnant?" Because I didn't recognize your number. I thought it was like Katie or Miranda or something. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, just me this time.
Yay!
Yeah,
Let's
don't get
go.
Miranda
That's so
started.
fun.
Hmm.
I just deleted something. Whoopsie. Come back here. Come bigger. Okay. I can't get. There we go. All right. How is everybody?
Good.
Good, yeah.
I was on my phone before and I was doing something and not paying attention. And I was opening my computer and copying, like pulling some notes over from thing. And I looked over, but I was just checking to see if I could screen share. So the only thing I had was my phone. My iPad was there. So all of a sudden I hit something and my phone got like this big. And all I could see was like gigantic, like little pieces of things and letters that were this big across there. I'm like, oh, great. Now
Oh
what?
no.
And I'm double tapping, I'm going into settings, like I'm trying to change everything. Couldn't change a damn thing. I'm like, ooh, frustrating. So what do you do when that happens? You just force quit and start over.
That's right. You
That's what I did.
power off and reboot, right?
Exactly what I did. I'm like, okay. All right, ladies, you know what I need right now is a big old,
Don't mind me for a second.
everybody need an exhale?
I'm gonna. Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, everybody just needs like maybe a little bit of that exhale, kind of like weak energy. It's been cold here. It's been warm here. It's been raining here. It's been, you name it. Exhale. All right. I have a wacky pair of glasses on and they're really annoying me, but I'm gonna keep them on anyway. All right. Remember last week, we kind of ended with like, let's report our wins. Let's find accountability, maybe send some text messages out, kind of see, get this, what they call the winning muscle. The more you report, remember what you report gets done, what you kind of send out there into the universe. It's having that accountability partner. It's having that backup. It's having that encouragement, but you start to feel, remember this whole course is, and I'm like thrilled to death that, 7,000-year-old ancient wisdom, across the globe is now being proven neurologically. Like now there's scientific proof where we had observational proof in the past, like they observed for 7,000 years now, 5,000, whichever, wherever you're getting into this, it was always observed, like things went on. And it was so simplistic back then. It was easy to really see outcomes because there was true behavior, like true things, like there truly could have been a tiger chasing you, or you didn't have food for 4 days, or there was a famine, or like real things happened where technology couldn't change or intercede and kind of take over. So now neuroscience has become so advanced and all that. Now, as we, laughed about probably 5 or so months ago, that, as we get into yoga and into spirituality and getting into even like, back when Jesus was actually having miracles and different things, this is energy. And this isn't like our aura. They're saying now, well, there's this kind of a field out there in this quantum, force that we can measure. It's this real thing. Isn't this crazy? And you look back into text all the way back 6,000-7,000 years ago, and it's our aura. It is our energy. And as we are able to really start to go deep and deep and deep, as we're getting into with mixing it like with habit and behavior change and all this stuff, it's a feeling. It's all back into what we feel creates this, what we feel, how we, intercept someone else's feelings, how we view our day. Is it positive? Is it negative? Like, so as we keep building on this, it's so profound that like we can see it in each other. But now finally, there are physical tests, neurons in our brain, physical reactions in our energy. Not only like, so this crazy fun thing, someone just put up in a blurb the other day. So when you get really anxious or nervous or scared, your blood pressure goes. So that's an obvious, like that goes up. And then the ability to see it in someone's face, or some poor people break out like in a really bad, rash or something, their boss just called them in or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, that amount of energy is measurable now on the outside of the body per science. But if you were this enlightened being, or Jesus walking before, or Buddha, or whomever, your knowledge just to see that person and feel, you either had the ability to come in and hug somebody and bring in, you were actually bringing their energy, your energy into theirs to exchange, or you could feel that it wasn't good, it was negative energy, and you could step back, you felt it. And now it's physically being measured, which is really fun and cool, because now we're not a bunch of wackies, or voodoo and guru stuff. It's, science is now like, wow, we just have these brilliant new findings. So this is all really great, because now some of the Western medicines and things are able to catch on, and we're getting feedback, we're getting backup, we're getting real good positive feedback loops and things now, which is encouraging, because it's all going to start to help planetarily. So as we go into, right, Laura, are you?
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of the academic medical centers, 20 years ago, started picking up on this through research and through integrative medicine and Eastern medicine, and the recognition that there is a whole lot more than Western pharmaceutical and surgical, right? Yes. So they started pulling in these traditions from India, from China, a lot of the things that you're talking about are things that the academic medical centers started incorporating, even 15, 20 years ago, but now it's not, it's really gone mainstream. So that's what's really cool.
Which is now starting to turn the non-believers into believers and all. So you just hit on a crazy point, which I found so fascinating, probably reading books way back, but then the way that my teacher, my one professor in Ayurveda school, explained it to us. So she went through 7.5 years of medical practice in India as a Ayurvedic doctor, but almost following almost the same path as a medical MD here. And the rest of her entire family are MDs. They're all medical doctors. And Ayurveda and all of the Eastern medicine believes, say there's something in your body that has to be removed, a tumor or something that's in there growing, a cancerous or something, or even anything broken, ill, whatever. The brilliancy back then was to remove it, encapsulate it, remove it right away, get it out of the body. Same thing like when we have a cold and a flu and the virus, the body's trying to get rid of things it doesn't want. So the Ayurveda, they pull out that whatever it is, but then immediately go into the modalities of the mind, the body, and spirit, because now the body knew it didn't want it. You got to that 6th, 7th stage of disease. The body knew it didn't want it. So Ayurveda, they literally were doing surgeries 6,000-7,000 years ago, and they actually have this documented. They take things out, which my professor could do as well, anything to do with even, babies being born and whatever. And then they bring in all the other modalities where we go right to pharmaceuticals. So immediately we're taking this out in your surgery, you're going to go right to chemo, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do whatever it is, or this, tumor's being removed. And then we have all these drugs and things that are going to go. The body and the connection between the mind. Now the mind is scared to death. What the hell just happened? Like, oh my gosh, what do I know from here? So you're giving your body all of those negative vibes and all of those, oh my God, I'm scared to death kind of things too, which is really impeding the progress of healing. Where the Eastern medicines and all, they immediately go into that connection. Okay, this is what we're going to do going forward. Your mind, your body, your spirit, everything's going to work in conjunction to heal this. You're going to change.
I'm learning about that, and the mind-body connection, like so much with the, like hypnobirthing and different things for labor. Like, and it's so funny because had I not done these classes with you, like that mind-body connection, I wouldn't have necessarily believed it, how strong it was. Like they talk about like physically when you're fearful, when you're this, like you're in more pain, like your body releases all these different receptors. Like it's just so crazy to like make those connections, you know?
Yeah, and the more you do it and practice it, so for you, Ash, it would be continue to practice it now on slight little tiny things, so that when birth comes to you, you actually have the tools practiced. So then when you're going
Yeah.
through birth and you really physically can make things easier on yourself and make the breathing, the connection, you know, whatever it is, whatever you need to do for you, the body
Mhm.
has already practiced it. So it's
Yeah.
the same thing as going into a meeting, ending a relationship, anything that has that crazy impact on your physical body, it starts in the mind. So
Yeah.
what can we do before something happens? That's where we're really, really going to advance going forward in the next couple months, is really getting down to what our behaviors are, what we want and what we don't want, how to keep behaviors going forward and make them easy and really attainable. And then the ones that we don't want, what are our prompts? What's making us do things over and over again that A, we don't want to do, and B, we know is not healthy for us? What are we doing, and how can we start to get more in habit? So behavior happens before anything. There's some behavior before we have a habit for it. Once we get a habit to one or the other, then it's actually that automated state of either good or bad, whatever it is. So if we go back to our habits, the 10 are really what we focus on the 10 are really the dinacharya of Ayurveda. It's your daily routines, and then your richacharya, which is your whole seasonal changes. And this is really what brings the mind, the body, and the soul in connection with nature. And that's what begins to keep that cycle. So we just got too far away with all the advancements and things of our connection to nature, our connection to people, our connection to like our heart and our, like that was like shunned upon. Like if you're still going, you know, to church every day, if you're still praying, if you're still, you know, focusing on heartfelt things or whatever, for a while there was like, no, grab your iPad and shut up, you know, watch a movie, Netflix, do something. Like we were kind of like, oh, you don't do that anymore. And everybody started to really set in with illness, more disease, more like disconnect from other people. And all of these things are starting to really, really snowball and become the demise of our own health and our own psychological well-being, which is more important, as we know, because that starts to really generate health or disease in our body. So as we went through the gap and the gain, any positive, you know, reflection, anything positive thinking physically changes the body chemistry, as we know. And if we get into constant gap, you know, that's that mindset, or we allow, more importantly, if we allow someone else to keep us in the gap, if we allow someone else's being or someone else's push or interference or interaction, it could be anywhere, family member, friend, coworker, it could be someone in the line at Starbucks that's there every morning that you're there, and the minute you walk in, say they're talking about their boss, or it's negative, that negative bias is constantly, now that's going to trail with us long. So it could even be someone you don't even know. So you got to kind of keep an awareness of this and the effect that it's having on our body. So that negative bias is super, super important. So let's just take our 10 habits. So anyone right now have anything that's really working for them, or something that they just still can't do, or it's just not happening? Or anyone have any reflection on the earlier, lighter dinner, earlier to bed, start the day right, breath body practice, meditation, maybe healthier eating guides? What's the other one? Easeful living, anything. As I say, easeful living seems to be the hardest for everyone, but anyone having a great win or a great like struggle?
I last week I said one of the things that make me truly, truly happy is yoga and like painting or something like that. I force myself 7 days every day since I saw you last paint. I pulled out a huge canvas of a painting I started 7 years ago. And I can't wait to get home from work to go sit on my canvas and paint. And that's been a huge gain, like huge. But now I'm feeling like the guilt that I'm sitting in front of this piece of wood for 4 hours a day. And so it's like this weird balance.
And that's
It's like
exactly what the
it's bringing
human
me
mind.
joy, but it's also giving me guilt. Like I need to do something else.
Yes,
It's
that's
really
exactly
strange.
what happens. But as you go into, so it's winter time now, so that's actually perfect for now. The winter time, we get so confused on the feelings and the that negative bias. So remember, negative bias is it's carrying that negative. So a negative bias actually will stay with us longer and will be more important than something more positive or even neutral. So say you were walking on the beach, you get up and you go to the beach for this beautiful sunrise. It's the most spectacular thing you've ever seen. It's enlightening your heart. You're like, you can't wait to, share it. You've got your telephone and your selfies going and everything. And someone's dog runs up behind you and bites you right on the calf. You're like, oh my gosh, now you're in, it just ruined everything. The goddamn dog, everything goes on and on and on. You're going to carry that thought. You're going to carry that story. You're going to tell everybody about the dog that just bit you, whatever. And that good feeling of that magnificent sunrise, it's never going to be told to anyone. You're not going to remember it. But that story that dog bit you, that's going to live on to your grandchildren. Like that's just going to keep going. So we hold on to negative stories. We hold on to, he hurt me, she disappointed me, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And you'll tell that story to yourself when you're quiet time and all that over and over again. That story just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to start changing. We're going to continue to start changing those negative bias, which last too long, and they take over the physical, so that psychological pressure of a negative bias keeps changing us physically. The more we keep on that story and repeat it and repeat it. And remember, as you go back and you start to think of the story, sometimes it really didn't even happen that way. And B, you can change the outcome by revisiting it and changing it. So negative bias is really, really strong, and it really, really affects how the body and the health and everything works together.
And Deb, I have a question for you, or I guess maybe like a statement or a comment. Like when you asked us how our habits are working and kind of wins and gains and things, something that I'm doing a decent job of it, but it's I have to do it. I have to intentionally do it. Is remind myself the seasonality of things, to Colleen's point and to your point, this negative, or I'm not doing enough, it's winter, it's kapha season, I'm pregnant, it's kapha season, remembering that this is a season of slow, this is a season of I can't get up at 6 a.m. necessarily every day, and
Yes.
or after work, it's dark, it's cold, fitting everything in is a little harder this time of year than the spring and the summer when things are all active and blooming. So I feel like something I'm trying to remind myself of is
but remember,
there's different seasons, right? Yeah.
The seasons are so important, and that's why we're learning, because this is what balances our health. So if we go through society the way we're taught to go through it, just keep going, keep going, keep going, that's when the body breaks down. So once you come through winter, if you haven't really done that winter slowdown, that winter hibernation, and give yourself the permission to do it, then spring comes, and spring is that very depleting. Remember, spring is getting rid of everything from the winter, all the excess, it's going to rain, all these things are going to be hard on the body. The winter is hard on the body, but it's here as a little gift. So actually, you just segued right into there's a few things, there's a couple things to kind of rewild your body back into getting used to the winter. And A is to give yourself permission. Now the days are shorter, but they're shorter for a reason. We have longer darkness, longer slowdown. So maybe at night after, a certain time, 6, 7 or whatever, start dimming all the lights. Don't keep the daylight going. Dim them way down. maybe go over to a corner and just, have some kind of a dim lighting and start reading and turn off all of all of the technology in front of you where there's lights all over. The body wants to slow down in the winter, and we never give ourselves permission to do it. We go right through, we keep the lights on because we can. And the physicalness of our body and our brain in the winter wants to slow down. It wants to, rise in the morning a little bit, more easily instead of jumping right out with the sunrise, and go through and in the winter, if you're, up here in the Northeast, or I guess even you guys have a different shift in winter sometimes, the body gets harshness sent at it. It gets a lot of that cold and that wind and that, so it wants to slow down. It wants to store up some. That's when we build. The winter time is for building the body, building the brain, and actually physically reinforcing the body for the spring and the summer, because they're coming. So if we trample ourselves through the winter without noticing that this is a season of doing those things, journaling, spending time with other people, doing your painting, doing different things that bring you joy but keep you slower, knitting, like any of those fun things that give you that time to just rest a minute, pull the plug a little bit. So it's a mind shift, but it's a physical body like requirement almost for the winter. That's why we live seasonally, and winter is slow down, eat more fats, eat more oils, add in like quality comforting time, not overdo our schedules, stay up late with lights on and all this. And you really, by the way you do this and respect your body and respect behavior of the seasons, that's how you stay in health. When you start, remember, if you keep going against the rhythms of nature, you're going against the rhythms and the laws of your own body and your mind and your spirit. Everything is connected. So like with you, Colleen, this is what you're supposed to do in the winter. This is the lights have already gone down, gone out. It's time, like everything is like, give yourself that ability to do something of joy and something, and then don't give yourself the guilt of it. This is the only time your body through the entire season, all 4 seasons, is really going to get a little bit of that break and really rebuild some things. So it's a very positive thing to do what you're doing. Some people take on those winter projects and it's really, really restorative. It's to rejuvenate in the winter time. So
Yeah, I'm not really complaining. It's just this
it's a real
thing in the back of my head. Yeah, just just how I'm wired.
Yeah, I know. You do anything and then it's like, oh, I feel so guilty that I sat down and did something.
Or 4, like literally, I would look at my watch and go, "Oh my God, I just killed 4 or 5 hours."
But that's okay.
It was the weekend. It was like 2 degrees and windy outside. I mean, come on.
What you were supposed to do.
Gotta give myself a break, right?
Yes. All right. So we're going to do a quick little, before we get into, we're going to then go into BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits. But right now we're going to do a fun thing. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms, and I'm not going to choose them. It'll just send you 2 and 2. And we're going to do a quick little exercise. We did this a while ago at the Liberating Structures. So we're going to start off with the easy one, and you're going to be in groups 2 and 2. One of you is going to set a timer or just use your phone or, look for a minute. So you're going to talk. The first, whoever chooses to go first is going to talk for 1 minute. The other person just listens, but you have to just keep going for 60 seconds. And you're going to tell the other person in the last quarter, like how you felt internally. So let's go back like 3 months or what's leading up, in time frame into this call, and really go deep inside, like what were your feelings, what happened, what went on in your life or whatever, or just blurt out any negative, positive, anything you want for 30 seconds, and then, 60 seconds. And then you stop and the person tells you what they heard. And then you switch. Then the next person talks for 1 minute, kind of describes their last quarter, feelings, emotions, to-dos, whatever it is, whatever you want to talk about, mental, physical, anything, emotional. And you're going to do 1 minute, and then the other person is going to tell you what they heard. All right, so this is Liberating Structures. We're just going into the TRIZ, to the basic one. All right, so someone we'll do the first minute and someone will do the second minute and I'll pop into the rooms. And then after, I guess it'll be like 3 minutes. We'll jump back in. Assign automatically. Okay. Okay, ladies, while you're in your breakout rooms, because when you get the recording, I'm just going to be sitting here for a minute. So I'm going to go into my notes and see if I can pull up any fun, spicy things for you that we didn't go over yet. All right, I'm going to set my alarm too. Let me set my clock. Let me give us a couple minutes. Okay, all set. Sorry, it took a second. All right. So we're going to go into tiny habits. And what I'd like to do is go back to how they all kind of coincide with each other, how they all reflect off each other, how they all work in conjunction. So we've got The Gap and the Gain, Tiny Habits, which is BJ Fogg, who read Atomic Habits. And then we have Benjamin Hardy's Power of Habit, I think. And they're all fantastic books. And it's all about getting these behaviors to turn into habits, and kind of by introducing new, better habits, we kind of, generally speaking, get rid of the old habits, which helps rewire our circuits, gets our brain going, gets things kind of going in different directions. And it brings back health and balance, and it brings back strength in our mind. And it brings back that ability to achieve and do things. And then it becomes automatic. And after it becomes automated, that's when things really start to change. So when you come back, we're going to go into another little thing. So I'm going to wait for a minute. I'm just going to read my notes. And we'll break it.
Oops. Hey,
Hey,
I'm
that's okay.
confused. Hey. Oh,
The rooms are closing, so you're back in.
okay. Okay. We were I hadn't done this before, so we were like had a little chit chat first before we started actually doing the
Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna go.
It's all good.
Colleen, you
Yeah,
must
there
have,
you are. Hi.
hit the leave button. We still had a
Oh.
minute to go, and I was going
Oh,
to
I
ask
don't know.
you to do
Yeah, sorry,
yours.
I'm trying to do this on my telephone. These things keep popping up, and I
Yeah.
can't multitask. I was talking.
Yeah,
and
it's
somebody
hard on
hit
the
button.
phones.
I'm
That's
on a
all right.
phone.
We're
It's a pain in the
gonna
butt.
we're gonna go back in again after. Sometimes the first one, that's why it's just like a minute.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a minute to get like
Going.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Colleen didn't get to say anything.
It's
Okay, well, we're gonna go back in
No,
then.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in a good place having a good conversation.
Yeah. Well, Mo and I can just hang out and listen too if you guys are still
Yeah, we'll
finishing
go, you
yours
go
up.
right ahead.
Okay. Well, I guess that means Colleen, you're on.
no, I don't want to.
No. I'm gonna put you two. I'm gonna put you two.
No, I'll do, you know what, Colleen, I'll share with you all what I shared with Ashley, because we were in completely different, like her, even though I feel this, but so happy. And I said, okay, I'm going to be the exact opposite and tell you the last quarter, which Debbie, you understand. But I mean, I was explaining to her that I have felt complete anger, frustration, and sadness. But what she pointed out is every time I was like, and when I got there, Deb, as you know, I called you and I'm like, help me. I need this out. I need this gone. I don't want it with me. It's got to go. And I could feel it and I wanted it out, like not keeping it in. And we were saying like a year ago, I would have kept it in. Yeah. Now I'm just like, no, it has to go. And I need help to get rid of it. And so like for us, we've made a major transformation from a year ago. So that's what we shared. So I'll share that with you because I was. And I said I had a little bit of childish tendencies in there too, because I just didn't want to be the adult anymore.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting you said about letting it out versus keeping it in, because I never really thought about in terms of that. And I don't ever let it out. I always keep it in.
And that's
Yeah. We all
this
share
is
that, I
this
think.
is my letting out, just being with other people of the same mindset or going through the same thing. So I wasn't going to do this tonight, and I was starting to write Debbie a text, and I was going to like make a list of things what I had going on today. And then I stopped myself 3 times. I started to write you a text 3 times, and I'm like, I'm not going to say all this. I'm just going to politely say that I'm not going to do it. But I only didn't want to do it because I was so locked into my freaking head and had a difficult 2 days, and I was being really hard on myself. So she said, oh, we're going to do this exercise. It's too bad. Try to join. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And now
sometimes we just need a tiny push.
It's me. It's my own brain just trying to talk myself out of shit that I do constantly because I'm just too much in my head. So Maureen, what you just said about letting it out. Oh my God, that's just so important.
Yeah.
If you can
hear
hear
the
yourself.
important then. Colleen, I'm gonna put you in a breakout room, and I'm not gonna choose who it is. I'm just gonna put you in, and we're gonna do that. You're gonna do your portion. So we're just gonna hang out for the 2 or 3 minutes. And I want you to go back in because it's really important to do exactly that, to finish this little tiny 1 minute. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's doing its choosing. All right, ladies, this is a really, really important measurement of our ability to share things sometimes that are really, really hard because you're so proud of it, or you're so, excited about something, but someone might judge us, or you're judging yourself on being, bragging or overconfident or whatever, but it's all really a part of health. We have to start learning to give ourselves the pat on the back every single time we even do tiny little things. For us to have long lasting changes and have things really resonate physically deep within our neurosystems, all of our, energies, like everything has to do with the ability to process things, and they're good and bad processes. So bad things, sometimes we're more at ease telling something that happened to us personally that's, hard or bad, or because misery kind of likes company. But if we're looked upon as being boasting or bragging or whatever, if we have something positive to say about ourselves or about something that happened. But it's actually more important to constantly give yourself that little pat on the back and share it with others. That gives us the ability to keep doing it as we feel something that is really personally important, something that is really felt in our heart, that makes us happy, makes us joyful, or makes us so excited that we did something really stupid. Like, I got up 10 minutes early this morning, 5 minutes early. I got up 5 minutes early this morning to get closer to my goal. You need to say that out loud. You need to share that with someone. That's a big deal. And little things, you did something, you got a promotion at work, or you did something, like, you have to keep saying these things to yourself in a positive way. And that positive reinforcement makes you want to do it again. If you don't give yourself that positive reinforcement, the body is less likely to do it again. So it's really, really pretty cool the way that we do this and join this bigger, neuro network of people and of things, just by sharing what it is we have. So I'm going to give them like 30 more seconds. We're back.
We're
Sorry.
back.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
That's so cool.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, I'm excited because I get to learn ultrasound imaging. So
Oh,
I'm
how
go
fun.
back to my clinical roots.
Oh,
And
cool.
send me a handheld ultrasound probe, and I get to practice on myself, on my
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm
That
gonna
is
be-
Hang out
so
with
cool.
me.
I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
right? We
Laura.
should live by you.
exactly. So
Yes, thank
so
you
I'm
for
looking
sharing,
forward to-
Colleen, by the way. Sorry, we got cut off a little bit. Thanks for sharing, Colleen. I'm happy you
Thank
did.
you for listening, Ashley.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back.
We're
I'm
all
so
We're back.
confused. I don't know. Oh, hi. Okay.
and,
Yeah,
and
it's better on the
thank you,
iPhone because it's
You know,
really
this is
little.
only my second Zoom call ever in my whole life. So,
Oh my
this is,
God.
so you'll excuse me. I'm a novice here.
That's right. And you're doing it on your phone. That's pretty impressive. So
Just
in
backup
between,
plan.
while you girls were doing that, I added a little I just kept talking for a few seconds, because if you see the recording, normally you'll see it that I'm just kind of, waiting in between and doing. So what I was saying, that this exercise, albeit one whole 60 seconds, like that's it. But when you tell something out loud to someone, you're reinforcing it. So if it's positive, you're reinforcing the positive side of it. If it's negative and you're telling it again in that negative way, you are reinforcing that negative story as being true or hurtful or whatever. And then as the other person reflects it back to you, they're usually very unbiased. They're just going to tell you what they heard. So for them to tell you, that was really hard, or maybe you were doing that or whatever, this is how I hear you're saying it. Then you get to hear how you're feeling. It's almost how you are feeling, because that person only heard it just however it came out of your mouth, that's how they heard it.
Right.
So it's a really fun exercise to start to see how you are really broadcasting yourself out there, or how you're feeling inside, which is more important, because that's what goes inside of us into this neural network of everything that's going on. So how many hours a day are we in front of our computers or at work quietly by ourselves, whatever, and these little stories are going on and on over and over again in our head? Shit, jerk did this to me yesterday, or that happened, or I got a flat tire on the way, or they overcharged me at the grocery store, or gosh, I haven't talked to that idiot in 5 hours. But like all these little tiny things that go on and on as we're going through, these are tiny little things where A, it's going to drive you crazy. B, it's going to start really degrading your health. But on a positive note, the gap and the gain, every time we notice one of these little things, so whatever we sent out and the other person reflected us back, we can kind of start feeling like, ooh, do I really say that? Did I feel that? And how long have I been holding on to this or whatever? As you start to become more aware of it, you can start to say, oh, okay, nope, that was a gap. Something positive about it. I know I'm never going to do that kind of a relationship again. Or you know what? I'm not going to, I'm going to leave home 10 minutes early or something. So if I get a flat tire, whatever it is, you keep catching yourself. And that's when we're trying to turn it into positives, because all these things, as we harbor them all day long, they negatively affect us. On the other hand, if you just had the tiniest little something that was so good, or the biggest thing, we're less likely to report that to ourselves or to someone else, because now maybe we're boasting. Now maybe we're full of ourselves. Now maybe someone else is going to be a little jealous and we don't want them to be. But all of this, for us to create new habits and new behaviors, all these little wins and things, they need to be vocalized. They need to be said out loud. And it doesn't have to be in a boasting way, but neurologically, we are set up to do negatives and positives, and we're going to keep. So as we reinforce the positive behaviors, the positive feelings in our bodies, that's where we change. Holding on to the negatives and just living in that past stories or whatever it is going on, change doesn't happen. Identity doesn't shift. I'm sorry, did someone say? No. Then things don't happen, don't change, unless we really A, see them reflected back to us, and then B, start to make changes on these levels. Tiny, like you have to keep celebrating the wins, the brags, and it doesn't have to be in a boastful way. It has to be in a reinforcement way for you. So when you are painting, Colleen or Ashley, you're getting ready, for the next sets or whatever's coming up, or you have like these great wins or something, and or positive ways that things are going to happen, say you're getting ready for the birthing or whatever, like those things need to be said either out loud, or you need to pat yourself on the back that you've achieved even the tiniest thing. Like the other day, I went to get up at this one point and I looked and it was really kind of early, but in my mind, I wanted to do a few things. And I was like, I'm just going to get up. And I got up and I was so happy that I just got up. And then I went, and it's too funny because I actually went in BJ Fogg in his behavioral science has one little thing. He calls it the Maui set, the Maui task, the Maui test. So he says when he gets out of bed, as soon as he puts his feet on the floor, it's the when I do this, I will do that. It's the same thing in our behavior, which we'll get into next class. As soon as he puts his feet on the floor, he says, it is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day. So every day his prompt is putting his feet on the floor. As soon as he swings out of bed, puts his feet on the floor, he says, today is going to be a great day. So the other morning when I got up early, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm awake and it's like 4:40 in the morning, I just went, spun around, put my feet on the floor. And I was like, you know what? Maui habit. I'm going to say it. And I said it out loud to myself. It shifted everything in my body. Like all of a sudden I was awake, I was happy, and I was ready to go, where I could have spun around and been like, God darn it, it's 4:40 in the morning. What am I going to do now? How am I going to get back to sleep? This is horrible. This sucks. Like, but I didn't. I spun it and I was like, I get an extra hour to do whatever the hell I want. And I put my feet on the floor and I was like, all right, BJ Fogg, I'm saying it. And I did. And it changed everything for the rest of
I heard like a month ago that if you force yourself to smile multiple times a day, it totally resets your brain into thinking that you're happy.
Yep.
Just smile.
Yes.
The smiling thing is so key. You're so right, because that helps me too. Like, especially with like body changes and stuff, getting pregnant and whatever. Like, I look in the mirror, I get up, I'm like, whoa. And then immediately I go, no, and I smile and I'm like, you look beautiful, to myself. I just literally go, you look beautiful, but like, this is what you're supposed to be right now. You worked hard for this, you know? And immediately
Yes,
you're right. It changes my mind. Like from being like, oh God, to like, I don't know, this is great.
How
Okay.
easy
It's
it
so
is.
funny.
How easy is that? It's such an easy thing to do, right? Yeah.
Smile, give yourself that little win, give yourself that pat on the back. I mean, you have to have anything change. Remember, behaviors really change with emotions. Emotions create behaviors. A sad emotion, a bad emotion, a good emotion, a crazy great emotion, that starts to reinforce whatever the habit or behavior is. So as we start to pick and choose whether it's going to be a good habit or a bad habit, the emotions are leading us into this. It comes from a completely different place, rather than saying, all right, it's New Year's resolution, and these are the 10 things that I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick to it. So about 2 weeks from now, you have already like lost 3 or 4 of them, and then whatever. So it's all these connections between the emotion that leads to real behavioral change. And as we get better and better at reinforcing or doing things more and more, that's when it becomes the habit. The behavior reinforces, and the more it's a positive, the more you feel good and feel rewarded about doing a behavior, that's when it becomes a habit, because you want to do it over and over again. And as we know, the more you do something, that's when it becomes a habit, and habit change comes from this automation. But so if we were to go kind of like back into our thoughts of where we were in this, in the breakout rooms, and think of what you said to the other person, or think of something, try to pick a behavior out of that. Is there a behavior in there that you really, really want to change? Or is there a behavior in there that you want to kind of create and reinforce? Was there something in that 1 minute that could actually be some type of a behavior that you do, or you want to do, or you no longer want to do? So an example, someone was saying the other day that, actually someone that I work with was saying that over the holidays, they would roll over in bed, and they had their ambition was to set the alarm would go off, they'd get out of bed, and they'd go right to their workouts. That's what they were doing this winter. They were getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. The alarm was right there next to the bed, the telephone alarm went off, they brought it up, and the whole entire time through the whole season that she was going to do it, she got right on Facebook and started scrolling, and it was like, I have to see if they liked my text, or I wanted to see whose family was doing what at Christmas, and blah, blah, blah. The entire time, she said she worked out 2 times, maybe in like 2 months.
I think that's like the worst thing on the planet to do is to grab your phone the second you open your eyes and go on like
The
Instagram. or
worst thing you
Facebook.
can do. It actually has
The worst
become
thing.
the demise of humanity.
It absolutely. It's so
So we need to go
unhealthy.
back to the behavior that she wanted to change was twofold. She wanted to change her behavior of sleeping. She wanted to change her behavior to get up early and exercise. But now her new behavior is changing scrolling. So what's the prompt? We have to think, what is the prompt? What makes it easy for us to do that? So her number one prompt for both of them is the telephone. So A, it was an alarm clock, and B, it was now her scrolling. So she has to figure out how to undo the scrolling, but how to still exercise. So it's kind of a fun thing. So if you could think of one behavior and figure out, is it something positive or negative? Is it a behavior that you want to keep or a behavior that you want to discard? So within there is a prompt. So remember, if we go back to our trigger habit reward, there's always a trigger. So in behavior, that's habit science. In behavioral science, there's always a prompt, something that prompts us to do something else. So her prompt was her telephone, and it was good and bad. So if you could think of a behavior that you just discussed with your partner on those, that is something you want to reinforce or something you want to keep figuring out how to do, or is there something negative that you want to remove? So we're going to do a quick little, it's another one. It's like 2 minutes exercise each. And this one's really fun. It's called Swarm, the bee swarm. So picture like this cloud. So you're going to say, my behavior. All right, so let's just take hers real fast because it's easy and I don't want to waste any more time. So hers was the prompt. She wants to get rid of scrolling. So hers was the telephone. So her prompt is the telephone. Her behavior is scrolling. How can she stop scrolling? So we're going to go into these breakout rooms again for 1 more minute. One person's going to talk and the other one is going to then listen to all that you're going to put into this. It's called a bee swarm. You put like this big cloud, anything you could think of, and you're just going to, kind of spit them out there that would help you stop scrolling. So think of whatever your behavior was, something that you want to reinforce or something that you want to stop doing now going forward. So say her scrolling, she wakes up, maybe she needs to put the phone somewhere else. The prompt is her phone. In this behavior, what can she do? So let's take stress. Say you want to have a more stressful new season coming up. You could leave work early. You could meditate.
Less stress. You said more stressful.
Excuse me, less stressful. So to make this season less stressful, what could you do? You just brain dump in there. So think of a behavior. So that behavior would be changing your stress level. And then you would just kind of dump into there, like just what first comes to mind. How could you do this? So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and it's kind of just fun. You just blurt out anything that comes to mind. And then the next person will go and tell what their behavior is. And then you're both going to go into kind of what could you add to this to help this either become more of a habit or lose the habit. The behavior, excuse me, it's not a habit, a behavior, something in your last quarter.
So
It could be something you want to improve on,
Either. So a behavior, something you're doing right now that you're either trying to reinforce, like waking up at 5 a.m. to exercise, or not eating dinner at 8 p.m. or whatever, or a negative habit. Hers was scrolling. What can she do to stop scrolling first thing in the morning? So it's either positive or negative behavior. So something you're doing right now.
Are we supposed to come up with what we should change or
Ideas? So this is almost like a brainstorm. What
Okay.
you could do to help reinforce that behavior or remove that behavior.
so both people are supposed to be thinking of ideas?
Yep. So as soon as you would say your behavior first, and then you both say like, go for a walk around the block. So say like your behavior was changing an exercise eating habit or something that you're working on right now, then you're both going to brain dump for 30 seconds. You can do a minute. Anything that would happen to reinforce this or make this behavior more easily attained, or just the opposite. Say at 10 o'clock at night, you're having a snack. What can you do to change that habit? What are your prompts? What's in your way? Like, what could you do? So you're going to brain dump.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just doing automatic again. I don't know where it's going to go. Maureen, you have to join.
I think I pushed the wrong button again. I think can you
No,
hear me?
I don't think Maureen joined. I just sent her a message that she needs to join.
Oh, I thought it was me. I thought it was me.
Nope, I think she just needs to join it. Let me look back. Oh, it's not letting her join. Okay. I'm going to leave the room for 1 second, Carl.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, Lane, we'll go. I think she got kicked out. I mean, I think she's got to rejoin. Okay, so since I just did a quick little one, why don't you, so in the last discussion, do you have a behavior that we could brain dump into? Good or bad? One you want to reinforce or one you want to remove?
It wasn't really from the last discussion, but I thought of something that
That's okay.
I would like to do.
Yeah.
Just bad behavior of when I get home from work. I'm like generally tired and I'll eat lunch and then I'll put on the TV just to like veg, and then I always fall asleep. And when I was working 5 days a week and waking up at 4:45 in the morning, it's like I had it. That's why I cut back from work, because that's
Yeah.
all I did. I was exhausted, but now I only work in 3 days a week and I have more energy. So I don't really think I need the nap, but once I eat and relax and like get horizontal, I always fall asleep. So I want to change that behavior
Okay,
and not like
perfect.
just come home, eat lunch, lay down, because I'll fall asleep. So I
Okay.
want to do something else so I don't continue to do that, because I'm not as tired as I used to be. I can have more energy to do other things at this point.
Perfect.
So I want
All
to
right,
break
so
that cycle.
what do we think? What can we do then to do this? So I already have a few. So how about taking Boone for a walk right after, going outside, right after you eat? Like a lot of times you only sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and then
I should
what are
sit
your
at a
plans?
table and not sit on my couchy thing
Mhm.
because I should sit at a table.
Right.
And then, like you said, Do
What else,
something.
or what else could you do right after you eat and sit for a second? A lot of times it's good to move for like 5 to 20 minutes, like help digestion.
Mhm.
I
I should do something out because I live in this apartment, so it's hard to do something outside of this space. I need to be outside or even run errands after I get off
Mhm.
from work, go run a bunch of errands instead of coming home and just doing that routine of coming in this tiny little space, eating and like, it's just, I hate it. It just doesn't do, I'm not benefiting and I'm nourishing myself and eating, but other than that, there's no benefit to that behavior in my life. It's bad.
All right,
So-
how about setting an alarm on your phone? So give yourself 15 minutes or so after you eat, set an alarm on your phone, and after 15 minutes, then you're going to go for a walk. Even if you lay down and go to sleep, does the alarm wake you up? Have the
Yeah,
alarm wake you up and give it like the 15 minutes or something? Because it's really bad to lay down after you eat too. You want to kind of help slowly digest, not a power walk, but, or get up and write a grocery list, or get up and organize your paints. Like think of some things that's going to change the behavior. So the behavior, that's the worst part, is falling asleep after. So what can you do to not make it so beautifully conducive to fall asleep? So, so things like that. What else?
Oh, although I do need the sleep because like I said, I wake up at 4:45, or maybe I could just limit my sleep or something. I don't know.
Well, on the days that you work, sleep those days. And the
Well,
days
that's
you
what I'm
don't
talking
work.
about. I don't
Yeah.
even need to nap anymore on the days that I don't work because that was the whole purpose of cutting back my hours, is so I can regain and feel rested on the days off,
Yeah.
and I do. I have accomplished that.
Right. So on those days, maybe take a quick little nap, cell phone or something, if you have an alarm clock, and then go for a walk with Boone. And on those nights, go to bed earlier. So you're
Yeah.
still going to get that sleep.
Yeah, that's what I need to do too. I need to go to bed earlier. Watching TV at night is just like not good.
No. So get the,
I need to read or just get into bed, read, and then fall asleep naturally or whatever.
yeah. So staying up late that also interrupts the whole circadian circle and everything. So
What'd you say? Staying asleep? Like
going
like
to
a nap?
bed later.
Oh,
How are we back in here again?
well, poop. How do I get back in?
No, you're good.
No, I was reading the text message.
I know.
Is that still Maureen?
Yeah, I can't even add her now. She's not even on the, I don't know what happened.
Well, this is changing my routine. So thank you, Debbie.
You are welcome. You are very, very, very welcome. So we need to, yeah, you and I will, oh, there we go.
Ah, dang, I missed it.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
Laura.
say, it's generally crap that I'm eating too, it's not good
Yeah.
stuff.
But you know what's funny? Just really quick, sorry guys. So we just want to. One thing that I do, I like, as lame as it sounds, like I just don't buy anything. Like my cupboards are sad. Like it looks like a sad college
Yeah.
frat boy like lives in my house. Like I literally don't buy it. Like one of my like prompts, I guess, I go to the grocery store full. Like I eat a meal before I go to the grocery store, or I order my
Smart.
groceries online so that I only buy what I have. Because like I've been having a real hankering for Sour Patch Kids now that I'm pregnant, weirdly, and they're garbage. So like I let my husband can buy me like a small pack like once a week. And he like keeps them in the car so that like if I really want them, like he'll go get them for me. But like if I had just a big Costco sized bag of them in my house, I eat them every night. Like I like purposely just set my environment. Like I guess like because for me, environmental cues are like my biggest prompt. So
It's
like
removing
if
the
it's
prompt.
yeah, like if it's in my environment, like I'm gonna eat it or I'm gonna do it, you know. But if I just don't, like, I don't know, I've wanted Doritos really bad a couple times and I just never had them. So I had to have like some crappy natural cracker.
Do
I
you know
didn't wanna
what
eat
that
with,
is a
like-
craving for, especially being pregnant? Doritos genetically have been modified to have the same chemical response in your body that your body gets from calcium, and you're pregnant.
Really?
So they're brilliant
God,
enough. The
that's so
chemical
weird.
reaction in your body makes you feel like you're having calcium. So it reinforces the body to want more and more and more. So the
Oh my
Dorito thing
God.
is a real thing, and it's bad.
Is this just Doritos or is this most of the salty snacks?
Doritos in particular.
Doritos in particular.
Good
Are
thing
you-
I don't
How
eat
weird.
Doritos.
I know. I don't either. I don't eat Doritos either, but it's so funny. Randomly, a couple weeks ago, I was like, if I had a bag of Doritos, I'd eat the whole bag right now. I'd eat an entire bag of Doritos.
Are
And I
you-
didn't
but
buy
are
any,
you-
but
Are you cutting yourself a break? Because you are pregnant after all. And
oh yeah. I treat
things are going to
myself.
change when you're not pregnant. I mean, there's a real
Yeah.
thing with cravings.
Yeah.
Well, at
Oh,
least
no,
you're not
totally.
eating dirt and weird stuff like that. Some people get like really bizarre cravings and eat strange things.
Well,
Yeah.
good dirt is good for you. That person probably is completely void of minerals. Oh,
Yeah.
yay, Maureen
I know
Jack.
that. You know what? I think that was from Rosemary's Baby,
Oh,
the movie.
happened, Mo?
Rosemary's Baby.
I don't know. I'm trying to shut off my iPad because it still won't let me do anything. And I'm like, y'all, I can't go anywhere.
oh,
Like it wouldn't even let me reboot it from here. Now I'm trying to just shut it off.
technology happens, right? It's like, ugh.
No, I was like, hello? Hello?
Now we're looking at your ceiling.
All right, does anyone
Sorry, I was trying
want
to, I was trying to do this and turn this back off because I was trying to do this from, like I said, from my iPad, and I'm like, it won't even let me out.
Is there anything that you were thinking of that, I mean, because you can share it with us. Is there a habit or something that you want to improve on or remove?
Well, I was going to talk about how I've improved on getting to 14 hours for fasting, but by God, I cannot get past 14 hours.
Okay, so
So what tricks does anybody know that could help me get?
Why
Yeah,
would you
so
want
yes.
to?
Because
mean, you're
every now
doing
and then
every-
I'd like to do a 16-hour fast.
it's really,
for-
it's so
Yeah, just
good
don't be
for
home.
every bit of the
Don't,
body.
don't go home.
Don't
So-
go home.
Yeah. You got
What
2
about
more
skipping
hours
breakfast?
to kill?
So here's what I've been doing. So like we eat now between 5:30. The latest we'll get finished eating dinner is 6:30. So then I set my thing to no matter what, I have to get past 8:30. Okay. Because at first it would be like I got to the 12 hours and couldn't get past that. And so now I'm doing 14, but of course everything I read on it is I'd like to every now and then do 16, but I don't know if it's because I like almost feel like I'm crashing when I haven't had anything. Like I can drink water, right?
Mhm, absolutely. You can have green tea, black coffee, water, anything like that. And if you want to stay in fat metabolizing, say into like, try to get into that keto zone, you can add fat to your coffee. So you can add
That's what I
ghee
do.
or butter or MCT oil. You're not going to stay
Say as
in
long as
the,
it's like under 50, around less than under 50 calorie range, you're good. I put cream
Yeah,
in my
but
coffee.
I mean, some people say like, oh, well, I'll just put 1 tablespoon of cream or something in, but really, if you want to stay in really, and if you're looking for autophagy, say there's something going on in your body physically or something, and you're trying to cleanse cells and like overdo disease or something like that, you want to stay in that real fasting state. And it's really all in the mind. So we think we're that hungry. We think so. What I've gotten to do in the last 6 months is just skip a meal. So a lot of times if I don't, say an afternoon meeting or something happened and I don't eat until 3:30, I just don't eat dinner. And I don't even want it because I eat enough at 3:30 in the afternoon or something like that. And then once you skip dinner, by the time morning comes and you're doing you slowly start to not become hungry anymore.
Mhm.
And then,
Yes.
like you're just kind of cleansing. So if you were to do that once a week or something, it slowly gets you, like I say to Kevin now, there's certain days like where I eat a lot, like I eat more. Sometimes it's even 3 meals or do whatever. And then I'll pick a day where you skip a meal, like for better health, for better cognition, especially Mo, like your mom just had Alzheimer's and all that. Like you want to really protect your brain and you want to keep these
Yeah.
things going in a positive, manner for you.
Mhm.
The more you can skip a meal, do a fast, do a water cleanse for a day. You're not trying to lose weight. You're not trying to be ultra thin, all this. You're trying to keep the body where it goes into fat metabolizing, because that's better, pure, more like real fuel for the body. You're going to try
Right.
to get it. But then on some days you want the body to use the sugar. So that fasting, where we do it, where we're kind of like back and forth, you want to make sure that you actually can activate both sugar and fat for your fuel. You don't want to be all one or all the other. So you want to be able to have that metabolic flexibility
Mhm.
throughout.
I've been doing it for almost 2 years now, and I'm only doing it because of my work schedule. Like I started losing a bunch of weight. I'm like, why is this happening? I'm like, oh, I guess I'm intermittent fasting. Didn't even realize it. But I have a 17-hour spread. My fast spread is 17 hours. It's super easy for me because I literally I leave for work at 6:30 in the morning. I'm up at before 5 in the morning. I'm not making breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning. I have no desire.
Right.
I drink my coffee. I go to work.
What do you put in your coffee though?
I put creamer in.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a little sweet, little Splenda. And
Yeah.
then that maintains me when I get home. Like I said, my routine with my lunch, I have to eat lunch then because I'm pretty darn hungry. So I eat lunch like at 12:30.
Yeah.
I'm usually done eating for the day, for the night by 6:30 at night.
Yeah.
I don't eat anything after 6:30. And then, so yes, like 17 hours, but then I don't do it on weekends because
Yeah.
I am home generally. What makes it easy is I leave my house. I'm not
Got
sitting around going,
But
"Oh,
aren't
it's
you
gonna be
in
12 o'clock."
but you're in a food environment. Aren't you like around food all morning?
Yeah, but I'm literally, all I do is run. I run around. It's a very physical job. I'm up and down steps all day long.
Right.
I'm not in a restaurant environment. No, I'm around minimal food where I'm making breakfast for people, but I'm doing all the work. So
Yeah.
and I have, it's the same food every day. I have no desire to eat it or no. But when
Yeah.
I'm home and it's lunchtime, I'm ready to eat. But
Yeah.
it's so easy for me because of my schedule. But
Yeah.
on weekends, sometimes around 10 o'clock on a weekend, I'm like, I'm kind of hungry, but I'm home. So it's harder, but I
Yeah.
don't
So
do
the
it on
prompt,
weekend.
exactly.
I'm
So
not
you're
trying to
removing the
lose weight.
prompt, right? But if you were to,
And I have so much
was gonna-
energy, like so much energy since I've been doing this, so much more energy than I ever had.
yeah,
I would
Yeah.
say, because I used to always eat breakfast and I would never do the fast, right? I mean, I was eating until 10 o'clock at night would be my last snack. And then I'd get up and I'd have breakfast at like 7:30, right? So, and all my life, I ate breakfast. So now I'm not. And what I've found is I get up and the very first thing I do is get a big mug of hot water.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I drink a mug of hot water.
Debbie, well,
I drink 2. And then after
Debbie
my
likes that.
first or second cup of hot water, then I have probably 1 or 2 cups of coffee. So it's a lot of liquid that's
Mhm.
going into my stomach. And for some reason, I'm not hungry because I've just dumped all of this hot
Good.
liquid in
Yeah.
my stomach.
Well, that was
So
something I was going to ask you too. And it's funny. I was thinking about this for you too, Laura, with you like talking about snacking and stuff. And again, like for me being pregnant, everything's kind of like hyper, everything
Yeah.
is just extra. But one thing I noticed was like, I would think I was more hungry when I was actually just really depleted. And so I wonder if like electrolyte water or things like that have like that little extra bit of salt or minerality your bodies could be craving. Like a long fast like that, you might just be like, maybe your electrolytes are a little off. Maybe you need a little salt. Maybe you need a little I don't know, maybe like something like that could help you stretch out your fast, Mo. And for you too,
That's
Laura,
a
with
good
like,
idea. I didn't even think
If
about
you
that.
in
you
the
know.
morning too, what will really sustain you and kind of balances if you could have your green tea or your coffee with, so save that like really special coffee for like maybe 10 o'clock in the morning or something, but in the
Mhm.
morning, what I had done for a while to get me, to bridge me to that point. So if you were to put the ghee or the butter and you have to blend it, because then it actually gets further deeper into your cells. So that's where the real like ketosis will, which you got to be careful though. Women, ketosis in women is a little bit different because we have so many more hormones in an imbalanced state than men do. So we really have to be, you can't just go full force into, but once, twice, 3 times a week, you'll start to get better at it. Skip a meal. It doesn't have to be that fasting mindset, or we could do, you could do the fast mimicking diet where you just do calorie restriction. So the body's
okay.
doing less, everything is easier. So you just do a calorie restricted, say you only do like 500 calories at, you know, your lunch, and then maybe 800 or even less at your dinner, whatever, easy, so that the body has just minimal to kind of process and do. You do that once a week. Do things like
Okay,
that.
that's
But
a good idea.
the
Okay.
more you allow the body to have that fasting time, the better, as we're learning, and the better fats. If you're adding these better fats in and you're doing the spacing of the meals or whatever you're doing, the cognition, the actual, the functions of the brain become more enhanced. The more we eat, and the body's just like, not us in this small community, but most, that eating, that's where the decline of the body comes, the brain comes in,
And that's the hard part.
and
I'll tell you,
processed
because-
foods.
Yeah, because you know, I mean, I would love. There are times I would like to skip dinner, but I can't. God bless my husband. I love him to death, but it's like so hard to be like, thanks for cooking, but I really don't want that. You know, so I'm trying to do that without having any, you know, issue, because to me, skipping a meal now to get to that 16 hours would be dinner for me.
Yeah. So I do that. I do that quite often now. And I'll
Okay.
just sit there. Kevin has gotten to the point where if he doesn't get home for lunch, then he will have dinner. But if he comes home for lunch, he only eats the big lunch, and that's it. But he's a snacker. Later on at like 7 o'clock or something, but now he even is getting where he's choosing an apple or something rather than, you know, whatever, or he'll come in and have a nice big handful of nuts or something, which will sustain. So it just starts to become, the body's afraid when it feels hungry. It's anxious for us. So instead, it takes a little bit of a mind shift to get to the point where, oh, so what? I'm hungry. And you start to say, you know what? My body's doing so many much better things right now, being hungry. I can think better. I can do this. And you know what? I'm going to feel that hunger for a little bit. Then I'm going to eat after.
Sometimes I'm grateful. I mean, it doesn't happen now, but like maybe before I was fasting, I was grateful. Maybe I was trying to cut back or whatever for feeling hunger pains. Because how
Yeah.
often do you really ever allow yourself to be hungry?
In this
You
society,
really
we
go,
don't.
Like we
And I'll
just
tell
shove
you that
something
every
in our
now and then
mouth.
it feels good, because I'm like, oh, my stomach's growling.
Because you feel
Good
like
deal,
you're
I
doing
did it.
something,
Yeah.
you're doing something good for your body instead of just like,
Right.
oh, I'm hungry, throw something in your mouth. Like it's
Yeah.
good to feel the hunger pains, I think, you know, sometimes put you
You're
in
right.
check.
All right, I'll just try that.
Yep. So removing, you know,
Fine
some of the
choice.
prompts, like in the morning, again, maybe try, you know, what is that? The bullet coffees, like the fat is so good for you. We became such a zero fat, like zero, you know, you can't have anything back in the 90s and the early 2000s and things.
Right.
And everybody's brain, the brain functions on fat. We need that fat. If you could see my diet now, there's so much friggin' fat in my diet, and like nuts and seeds and fat and all of this. And I mean, I don't have anything low sugar, like everything is made with real sugars or full fat off the, like there's no fake chemicals. It's pure. If I'm going to eat it, it's going to be a big something pure, real food. And I add the oils to my, you know, my matcha tea or my coffee, or I make a golden milk on the weekends, my treat. So I'll make a golden milk with coconut milk in it. So I've got my almond milk and coconut milk, more fat. And then I take espresso, like an espresso shot or something, and I put that in with the MTC oil. So, I mean, that's like a big thing, but it's so nourishing. I'm getting
Yeah.
all of these things like
Mm.
packed into this one great drink where, you know, in the 90s, it would have been like, you're eating
Hey, can
fat
you
and you're
send-
eating full, you know, coconut
you
milk.
I've diet in this house. I have news for you.
Debbie, can you send me your golden milk recipe?
Absolutely. Yep. I'm
I
gonna,
want it.
Me too.
I
Me
grate it.
too.
It's the best on the weekend. You take, if you can actually get your turmeric and your ginger in the root from the, you know, the grocery store, and you just, it becomes, so, you know, when you make matcha, it was actually a
Mhm.
ceremony. Like they actually would
Mhm.
make it with the little beautiful little, you know, the little bamboo whisks and things, and it was all processed. So when I make my golden milk, since I learned how to really do it in Ayurveda school, that it actually all the ingredients have a purpose in the body. It's a mind thing when I do it. So I take my little piece of, you know, clove, and I, you know, crumble it up and put it in there. And then I take the turmeric and the ginger and I grate it in there. And then you whisk it up a little bit. Like it's a whole fun little process. And then you see it turn colors. And then I actually put a little bit of maple syrup in mine.
Nice.
And
So good. I want one of those right now.
oh my gosh,
Yeah,
before
yeah,
bed,
please.
it's like, oh, good night. So
Please.
that's another beautiful winter drink to get you ready for bed. That slows that,
Your
and
recipe-
that is breaking your
Great.
fast. But on some nights in the winter, that nourishment might be more important than the fast.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't know
more-
how people, there's an option, isn't there, for intermittent fasting to eat one day and not eat the next? Like
Yep.
I couldn't do that. Can you imagine going all day not eating?
Yeah.
No.
Just
I
very
couldn't.
boring.
Yeah,
I
it's
did like
boring.
a
I
couple-
want to sleep for like
I
14
agree.
hours then. I'm sorry.
You
Yeah.
need to like have something to look forward to. It is boring. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
But if you start to have any kind of any even not even a harsh disease or anything going on, fasting's the best thing you can do for your body because the body will know
That's
how
what I
to clean
did
out.
before IVF, and it
Yep.
finally worked. So
Yay.
that's when I finally got my
Yay.
good eggs when I did
Yep.
a lot of fasting and stuff beforehand. So
Wow.
I'm into it.
You're an advocate now.
What
All right, well,
happened?
I'm going to try to get to that at least once a week, 16 hours, because I never thought I'd get to 14, and I've been doing 14 almost every day.
Yep. That's so.
I
And you
feel like
also,
I feel like an old lady now. Like I go to it's early bird special time.
Kevin and I do the same thing. We laugh. We're like, are we
5:30.
really here at 5:30 at the restaurant? Like we're home
Great.
before other
Gotta
people are
get
even
it
getting
in.
there.
Yes. We went out to
I
dinner
love it.
Saturday night to treat because it was my sister-in-law's birthday. And I'm like, what time's the dinner reservation? It's at 6:45. I'm like, oh my God, that's late.
Me too.
No, I know.
Because
Right?
I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my God, I'm
15
going to be eating
minutes.
till like 7:30. Oh, that's not good. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I kept
know.
thinking about.
Me too. What'd you say?
Well, your window to eat is 8 hours, so you can shift that. Whatever
Oh, that's true.
time works for you, you
Yep.
shift it just as long as you eat in 8 hours.
And you won't even, and so if you did like 10 in the morning on some of those days, you make it really easy. You can last till 10. So if you were to do 10 and then do like 3, you're only in a 5-hour eating window. But it's that time of day, that's the broad part of the day.
Yeah.
And if you don't eat again, that next fasting time is going to be so easy. So try that
Okay.
once a week
Okay. I think I could do that. Okay. All right.
because you're really eating at those 2 main, really great times a day. So
Mhm.
you've lasted until 10 and then from 3 until the next day is easy.
And they do
Yeah.
say, well, you can eat whatever you want basically in your time frame. But if you really want to lose weight, keep it to just your meals and throw exercise in there. And it's just like,
Well,
you
that's
can't
the
help
other
but
thing.
not lose weight.
Yeah. I started running again. So I'm like, I'm hungry.
But it's so funny you say that about the running. Like I actually had to stop running pregnant because I would get so hungry because my body was
Yeah.
immediately like, no, that was fun. Give me those calories back. Like
yeah.
so I can only walk now because it was so counterproductive. But something you said, Aunt Deb, that I think I just want to like highlight, I guess, for you, Mo, like in between your fasts, like you have to make sure you're really intentionally nourishing your body. Like you have to really make the best of that window because it's short. Like if you're
Right.
not getting enough healthy fat, if you're not getting enough of the micronutrients and like the minerals you need,
Exactly.
your body's gonna crave things, So I would say like make sure you listen to it a little bit. If your body's telling you like no, and you're trying really hard, it might really need it. You know what I mean? You might really be missing something that you need to get in, you know? So
Okay.
And if you are eating, so the body will crave. So the more you have sugars or say like particular breads or things like that, if you eat more of those, the body's going. So remember when we get into that ghrelin and the lectin, so the lectin and the ghrelin, one is going to turn hormone, is going to tell you you're full, one's going to tell you you're hungry. And as you get into that resistance level and that insulin resistance, it's going to keep telling you you're hungry, you're hungry, you're hungry. So if you're eating more of the fats, eating more of really good whole foods, you're going to feel full longer. And so the correct hormone is going to come on rather than, you know, some people that are insulin resistant, they're like, I'm hungry all the time, but they really are, because the insulin is not regulating the sugar. And then the ghrelin and then the lectin levels are so off, they're not coming on to say, oh, you're full, or, oh, so they're always hungry. So it really has to do with what you eat sometimes, if which you're not, if you're a person that's eating certain pastas and different things all the time, that insulin
Yeah,
resistance.
I don't do that. It's just we eat a lot of vegetables and a lot of fish and stuff. And honestly, like the craving, I don't have any cravings at night like I used to have. None of that. It's just trying to get to, and I think some of this is too, what you're all saying too. I have mind over matter too, where I'm like, oh my God, it's been 14 hours, but I have to stop that and just be like,
try a bullet coffee in the morning on those days when you're, but
Okay.
you can't add your cream and all that, but you can add the MCT oil and you can add the,
I hate the taste of coffee.
I know.
Hey, I made a 20-hour fast.
I know,
Wow.
that's
Nice.
awesome.
It was crazy. I was like, I'm just not hungry. And then I got really busy. And then all of a
Yeah,
sudden
that's,
I had to cook dinner. And by the time
Busy. Stay
was-
busy. That's the
Stay
key.
busy. All right,
Stay
I'm gonna
busy.
do this, ladies.
all right, ladies. Wonderful
Okey
call.
dokey.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
And
you.
next week I'm away. I'm in
Yay for you.
Mexico.
I'm in Mexico for a week.
Good.
Yay.
So
Fantastic.
I'm
I'll
gonna,
have so much fun.
yes, I can send a recording, or we could do a short one on Monday. I leave early Tuesday morning. So
Send us something beautiful from the beach.
I will.
Yeah, send us a sunset or
Have
sunrise.
a wonderful belated 60th birthday, my sweet friend.
And none of you got my joke, except, well, you did, Colleen. I was like,
What?
oh, I really was like, yeah, Wednesday the
Oh.
20th, not paying attention to anything. I'm like, oh, so this is what happens.
I
We don't
got
even
your
know what day
joke.
of the week it is.
Oh,
Got your
I can't
joke.
believe that you're 60, and Deb. That's so funny.
Look at
That
she's like
blows my
looking
mind.
into the camera. You're
I know.
You're 60.
Well, because I feel like in my head, like you and my mom are still 35, and I'm 35, so that math
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. But
yeah,
I'm like,
wait, do
your
the
mom's
math.
Still 35. I feel like your mom's still 35. We got older, but your mom.
we got older. Yeah. I don't know how that happened, but okay.
it's so funny.
Have
though.
a great
like the
time.
numbers
All
don't
right.
make sense to me.
Yeah.
All right,
Me,
thank you so
us
much.
either. Us either.
Right?
What-
Yeah.
what part of
Hey,
Mexico?
I
Where are
just
you
pulled
going?
up. I did a post for Debbie for her birthday. Pulled out some college pictures. Mo.
Oh, crap.
There was a picture in the Trenton State pub with Budman. I
Yep.
was like, okay, that does
I
not.
had-
I do not.
I
feel
spared
60.
her the college stuff because I said,
Yeah,
oh, I
thank
can
you.
really go. Because the pictures I have, Colin, I'm like, we always have a drink in hand. We were
Yeah.
always doing stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do that. But
So cute.
But I
That's
loved
so
them
funny.
both. I loved them both.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
I'm going to
Alright.
Punta Mita, Laura.
And where is that?
It's just north of Puerto Vallarta,
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
the little
Gotcha.
fishing village. Well, it's actually nicer than a big fit, but it's gonna be.
Well, have a
Wow.
blast, honey. Have a blast.
I'm going to. I'm going to learn a lot. Remember, this is my workshop,
Oh, yeah.
personal and professional growth.
Good job. Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you, ladies.
All right,
have a
Deb.
good
Thank
night,
Have a great
you.
week.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.
Okay. Bye.
Great night.
Bye.
Adios.